reunited and it feels so good.
Peaches and herb.
This is a special moment. I'm just going to call it out. Julie Foudy joins your mom back to reminisce with her friend and former Stanford teammate. I'm going to get out of the way in a minute and let you two go. But Julie, this is awesome. Thank you so much for making the time.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. You're the greatest human being ever.
Oh,
yeah.
I
can't wait to hear all the stories about how like Lisa used to bully you at Stanford and all things. I'm sure there's a lot of them, but I got to start with really quick, Julie, because this is our first official meeting, but you have been in my life for a very long time.
Aww.
So when I was a third grader playing on the Venom soccer team in Ann Arbor, Michigan, my dad, shout out to Gary, got me this poster.
Shut up.
That's me. All right. So for those on audio who are not watching this on YouTube, this is a poster of Julie Foudy. I mean, flying through the air. It's one of my favorite posters ever. It's a great quote about being a tomboy, which I was. It was on my wall.
Quads. Look at her quads.
Oh my God. Her quads
seriously. Julie, that's amazing.
Like perfect.
Shout out to
hamstrings are just like, oh. But I literally had that on my wall all the way through high school. And so it is a modern day miracle that I still have it because I've moved 100 times and I purged everything. But through all my moves, I saved that. I gave it to my niece. So I just got to say, 8-year-old me is freaking out and about to start crying right now that I get to meet you. And I'm sure there's been so many people who have said that to you, but I'm one of thousands of girls that you inspired and you were on my wall for a long time. So this is a cool moment for me. Especially. Thank you.
Oh, that's really nice. Thanks, Ashley.
And now I have a body size picture of Lisa on my wall because I'm making up for lost time. So
when it's cut out,
I can't show that one.
I'm the TV. Before picture and you're the after. So that's
oh, but it is good to all be back together.
Nice cut out of Lisa.
Yes, I know. I'll send you one for your house for sure.
It'd be amazing. Yeah, that's really inspiring. Here, don't have 4 kids.
I want to steal a line from your podcast, which I absolutely love, Julie, which is set the scene for us. Like, where are you? How are you? How are you coming into this?
I want every detail of your life. Go.
Every detail. I am at my house and the kids are at school, so life is good.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm doing great. I'm actually home for a little bit. Anytime I'm home, I do a little whoop whoop. I'm trying. That was my COVID lesson. Is less travel, more time present, playing beach volleyball. Not with my kids. I just want to play beach volleyball. I want to be playing pickleball.
I love it. Oh, I've gotten into pickleball too. It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's so fun.
Are you mad that I think I beat you in pickleball?
Yeah. Oh, I would crush you, Lisa.
Oh, Julie, I'd kick your ass so hard you would know it hit you. You don't even know.
I would so crush you.
Oh my gosh, no. Hell no. Hell no. You could dribble the ball more than me, but I would kick your ass in pickleball.
I know you're so fast too. You'd be like that little dash going around the pickleball court.
Chalk it up as a loss. Chalk it up as a loss, but you'll get better. I'll teach you a few things. That's all.
I remember walking with Lisa, by the way. I remember walking with Lisa when I was out visiting her, and we're walking there, and there's like this little pickleball with these like women who looked like they were a little bit older, maybe in their, I don't know, 60s, 70s. And they were playing pickleball and just having a nice time. And Lisa looks over at me. We're having this big conversation. She goes, I would kick both of their asses so hard. And I was like,
okay, but would you? Because I was just going to say, so for example, this weekend we go see my parents who are in Palm Desert, and my sister and I, whenever we go see them, it's like pickleball heaven out there. They live in a retirement community. They have 15 gorgeous lit courts. So we always bring our pickleball paddle. We go there. We think, we're athletes. We can do this. We get our asses handed to us by 70, 75-year-olds. And my kids think that is the best thing ever. Because they play all that angle game. They're quick.
I've had a few of those too where I'm like, are you kidding me? They got the knee brace. They're on the court. And you're like, are you kidding me? Yeah, there's some really good older pickleball players.
Julie, what was Lisa like as a teammate? I'm dying to hear what she was like during her Stanford days from what you remember. Because Lisa, you were great at 2 grades ahead?
I may or may not have texted our Stanford soccer thread.
And that I'm not on, thank you. God.
I know.
whatever.
It's mostly like my class.
Okay.
But
I'm way older than Julie, way older. Like 2 years. My 2 years.
I haven't read all of them, and I
Nice.
really
Good.
need to read
Good.
all of them before I actually read them on air because they're not going to be clean.
It's okay. We can edit.
Do you
No.
remember that she goes, this is from Kim Peterson, KP.
Oh,
Do you remember that road trip when we were in a van and she was showing to passing cars, honk if you like the driver's boobs? Blair apparently was driving.
Then we got a lot of honks because Blair had it going on.
No one is honking. Okay. Then there was a moment Lisa and I shared. One of my favorite Lisa stories is when was that my freshman year when the earthquake hit?
It was 89. No,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah, because it was during a World Series, blah, blah. Yeah, it was 89.
We had this huge earthquake.
Okay, wait. Can I preempt this? I'm from Miami, Florida. A hurricane would hit, but we'd have like a week notice to evacuate, just so you know. So we could prepare, we could hunker down. I didn't even know what an earthquake was. I'm like, oh, whatever. So, okay, go ahead.
Loma Prieta, someone said was the name of the earthquake, right?
Sure.
So literally I had just headed the ball and I went towards the fence to get the ball, and the earthquake moved the earth so much that I like fell into the fence, and I thought like I was dizzy from heading the ball. Then I looked up and there are waves, like the actual earth was in waves. You could see it moving like that. And Lisa,
you're such a bitch. Can we not have her on, please? Can we?
I'm loving this.
Where's Brandy Chastain? She'd be a way better guest.
Lisa's like, do not let me die a virgin on this field. I am gonna fall into the crack and die.
And then, hey, I've never been in an earthquake. Calm down. I thought the world.
I am dying right now. Oh,
I mean, people are clearing the stands, and she's like, "We are dying here, dying."
I had a phobia because I thought the earth was going to crack in half, and I remember thinking, I just want to be on the right side of the crack. I want to be on the correct side. I don't even know what that was.
So then,
that's enough.
Our teammates reminded me that when
oh my God.
The earthquake was over, she was telling people that she single-handedly pulled people out of the rubble of Loma Prieta.
I was basically a hero that day. I didn't wake up knowing I was going to be a hero, but no, I was no hero. I'm scared to death.
Not all heroes wear capes, but they are virgins. This is my favorite thing. I have not.
For the record,
keep going, Julie. Please keep going.
No, that's good. We're good. Anyway.
They do want to know if you still snap your fingers.
Oh gosh. Yeah. When I get
that was a thing from college.
Oh, that was in high. Yeah.
I always thought it. Okay, can I say? I always thought it was like you maybe used to pack dips, and that was like what you.
No, you know what? Growing up in Miami, I think it was like a Cuban thing. Like all the Cubans, I remember the Cuban men would do it, and I learned how to do it, and then all of a sudden it became a reaction when I get nervous. So yeah.
I think I saw you snapping for Christian the other day on something. I was like,
yeah,
she still does it.
It's when I am out of control, and it's the one. Yeah, I don't know. I have some. Anyway, okay. Enough about me.
It's good to see you haven't changed one bit, Lisa, and that I admire.
Well, you either, sort of, kind of. I don't know. Let's talk.
A little more wrinkles, more laugh lines.
Same. Yeah.
Larger chest. I've had a few adjustments.
I know. Yeah. See more scars, whatnot. Yeah. Pumped out a few kids. It happens.
But other than that, exactly the same. I will say too, like for all the funny stories, and I'm sure, Lisa, if there's anything you'd want to share about Julie, go ahead. But when I texted you and said, what do you remember about Julie as a teammate? I remember we were just kind of going back and forth ahead of this interview. And you made some like perfectly wisecrack thing about how she used to bully you and you deserved it and all the rest. And then you came immediately back and you said, just kidding. She was the best teammate of all time. And Lisa doesn't give out accolades. She literally doesn't compliment anyone.
She was.
Look, you have to talk about my hair. I mean,
We all had bad hair back then. Come on.
It was a rite of passage to have bad hair back then.
Yours wasn't that bad. Yours wasn't.
I was afraid my hair would grow up instead of down if I grew it out because it was that big. So
you had short hair for a bit, for a little bit,
yeah.
and it was a little puffy. Yeah, but it looked good.
Oh yeah.
Good. It went really well with your like really good quads, your amazing quads.
Okay, so besides her quads and her great hair, what made Julie Foudy a great teammate, Lisa?
Well, just to be serious regarding soccer, literally, Julie, you were the best. You kept it. You were the perfect combination of keeping it serious and also making it fun at the same time. And when you joined the team, I actually felt like we united. We like became more of a team. You were so kind and generous, and not just that, but you backed it up on the field because you were so good. I just remember like a couple of times, like you literally would plant the ball at my like right foot. And I remember thinking, if I don't make this, I would feel guilty because anyone can make this shot because you were the best midfielder ever. And I had to play forward. So you'd have to feed me the balls and literally you were so good. So good. It's no wonder you went on and had so much success. So
the nice thing is you had Lisa on one side, you had this other player, Jen Rocket.
The Rocket. Yep.
Yeah. And so
Jen Rowland, because there was like 50 Jens on our team. We literally, I think we had there were 3 Jens, but this is the Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah. Rocket. I had 2 rockets that I just like, you just launch it. That's pretty easy as a midfielder. Just send it.
No,
go get it.
You made us look good. You're saying it's, I promise. Yeah. We were a little bit fast, but man, did you make us look good. You made our job easy. That's for sure. So thank you for that. Thank you.
We had a fun team.
We
did.
I
miss those years.
Those were fun. I wish I appreciated it more at the time. I remember just grueling sometimes of just going to the practices. But yeah, it was fun. We had some good girls on the team. They were fun. They were awesome.
I to that point, Lisa, I think there's a lot of people that I've heard, and particularly at Stanford, and I've been lucky enough to be around a lot of Stanford people in the day job that I have at the Pac-12, but a lot of them say, I knew Stanford was special. I felt really lucky to be there, but it wasn't until years removed and kind of looking back did I realize how formative that place was and the people in particular who I was with. So Julie, do you feel that way as you have gotten older, when you look back, you appreciate it in a different way?
Yeah. And that, I think that probably rings true for a lot of college age kids, right? You just don't realize it was this little utopia, in a sense that everyone lives on campus. I mean, think about, there's not many colleges still where you have most of your 4 years are spent on campus with everyone. It was just, spring days were spent playing volleyball on the grass or studying. I'm so sad they tore down Meyer Library, by the way, and that big old sun deck, because I spent a lot of days on that sun deck.
Yep.
Lisa used to make out. Yeah, at least still making out.
So you were on the sun deck. I was down below in the stacks. Yeah.
Because that's what virgins did. They made out. In the library.
I was like, for the record, I didn't think she was a virgin. So,
no comment.
It was, and you're surrounded by a bunch of amazing women on the team. We had that community, and it's a special place.
It really is.
I do love it.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about the World Cup, so we're going to get to this year's World Cup. I know we have to because we promised that when we
last story.
Oh gosh,
please.
I just saw this one. That she used to tell people in the airport we were a collegiate outdoor gymnastics troupe.
A circus troupe. We kind of were.
She hasn't changed.
There was a lot of traveling. There was a lot of traveling we had to do. We might as well make
like our driver's boobs. Like that is just really.
And she's like, "Hey, why is no one honking?"
Oh God, Lisa McCaffrey, you are a special lady. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the World Cup.
Let's
talk
about
your we're going to talk obviously about this year's World Cup because I know this is an exciting time, but can we just go back to, and Lisa, again, when we were chatting about this, you had such a poignant memory of watching the 1999 World Cup, Lisa.
Yes.
So poignant you can't even remember right now.
No, I can't. I can remember. I just remember sitting there. I was crying, especially in the finals, because I was breastfeeding one of my kids. And I just remember I had mastitis. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here with like kids and I'm bleeding and I feel like sick. But at the same time, you guys were just it took me away from what was happening at the moment to me. And I could escape and watch you guys just, it was one of the most amazing times in sports history that I've ever seen. Just what a victory for women, for everyone. It was really neat. It was really amazing.
So you're saying while we were winning a World Cup, your nipples were bleeding?
100%. And my baby was throwing up my blood, not his blood, my blood. So damn. Yep.
That is so painful.
Horrible mastitis. Yep. So let's talk about that, huh?
Yeah.
But thank you for distracting me. So I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Pretty much watching your former teammates win a World Cup is probably the only thing that could make mastitis.
That's the only, right. That was the only thing that made me feel better. Yeah.
I would agree with that. What do you remember? I mean, Julie, I'm sure you've done so much to commemorate what that team was, what that season was like, that win. How do you think that 99, World Cup team changed things? What fundamentally, as you look back, what do you think it changed?
I mean, it showed people what was possible, the potential. I mean, I've said this a million times, but we could have so easily done that on a smaller scale, regionalized it, smaller stadiums. That's what FIFA wanted us to do. And thankfully U.S. Soccer goes, no, we're going to do it nationally, big stadiums. And we actually took some criticism for that. Like, how dare you, be putting this on in these 90,000 seat stadiums that are going to be empty. And we were like, well, how do you know they're going to be empty? Why are you assuming they're going to be empty, you asswipe? No, they might not be empty. So am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Oh yeah. Yes.
That was the first time anyone's ever sworn, but
I have a really hard time with not swearing. So I think the thing that we're most proud of is it showed the potential for what women's sports should look like. I mean, mind you, I thought that was going to flip the script right away and everyone would be, oh yes, I'm on board with women's sports. Obviously it's taken another 20 plus years to get there. Like, there.
I've just based on the success from that victory.
Yeah.
My gosh. But
and
anyway.
I'm like, why has it taken us another 20 years to finally realize, like, oh, women's sports is actually something we should bet on and we should invest in that. And you don't have to, the good news is no longer do you have to waste your energy on convincing people that women's sports are something good to bet on and invest in. So that's good. But I thought that would have happened after they saw 99 and it took another couple decades.
Yeah.
What do you think Brandi Chastain's shirt off sports bra, like that iconic image? And I've talked to her about this. At the time, she didn't really think anything of it. And then all of a sudden she is having people, hand her posters when you guys are, she was saying when you guys were doing the parade, people were having posters of that shot that they wanted her to sign. What, as you look back again, all these years later, like what was that part of it that kind of women's sports, what did it emote to you? What do you think it signified?
When it actually happened on the field, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have to answer so many questions about this in the media. I was like, just put your shirt on, Brandi. She always was naked, right? So we were always like, oh, of course she takes her shirt off. But now I'm like, well, hell yeah. It symbolized like this unapologetic, I'm strong. Yeah, you can see my sports bra. Who the hell cares?
Love it.
And this is who I am, and I'm celebrating in this moment. And so now I'm like, yes.
And men do it all the time. They score a goal, they rip their shirt off all the time. We can do it too. I love it.
So, yeah. And, that's exactly, she had grown up watching soccer and men's players do it. And it was just this reactive. It was fantastic. People are like, was it staged?
Oh gosh.
No, that's Brandi. I'm just happy it wasn't this abs set right here. That was something that would have not been good for the cover of Sports Illustrated.
You just pull your shorts up and show your quads. You're good. Just show them your hamstrings and it's fine. I was listening to the 99ers podcast reunion, and your podcast is terrific. I absolutely love it. Laughter Permitted. If you haven't listened to it, or if you haven't subscribed yet, like stop what you're doing, pause this, go find it and subscribe and then come back. But there were so many, it was like, I felt like, I almost wanted to get a beer and sit there and listen to that entire thing, because you guys were having it was a reunion of friends getting together, reliving one of this most magical moment. There were so many great stories that came out of that. Do you have a favorite sort of behind the scenes story from that World
From
Cup run?
99?
Yeah.
Or from the reunion?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Neither one. There's a lot
we couldn't air of the reunion. Poor Lynn.
I was thinking that too. I'm so glad I didn't have to edit
I was
this.
like, you're gonna need a week to edit this, and you only have a day. I'm like, you know what? I think you should just say 99ers raw and let it all go. And she's like, oh God. No, I think that just in terms of, I was thinking in the final specifically, the Rose Bowl, my favorite story is when Brandy goes, I love when fans come up to me and was like, I was in the Rose Bowl that day and it was hot. And she's like, no shit. I was there too. And my like cleats were melting. Thanks for telling me it was hot. Is that all you got?
That's your memory? That it was hot?
Do you think she wants those people want their money back? Like, is that what they're looking for? Because they were so hot? What?
So my favorite memory is, and it symbolized actually what didn't happen in the final. It was actually at Soldier Field in Chicago. So like a few games into the tournament, because we didn't know like how responsive fans would be, if people would show up. We knew that the ticket sales were going well, but we didn't know that it would snowball into the event it became. And it quickly accelerated. And then everyone wanted to talk to you. And suddenly we were rock stars and, thousands of people showing up at practices. And we were like, what the hell is going on? We've never had this before. And there was this woman, as we finished our game, we played Nigeria in Chicago at Soldier Field. And the bus had become the area, the loading area, it had become just absolutely chaos, like getting to the bus and getting the fans away. And so the fans are screaming as we're getting on the bus. And this is only a couple games in. And this woman starts running with the bus, and she's running, and we're on a police escort. And so it's getting faster and faster. And she's dodging traffic and people, and she's staying running.
Is it Lisa McCaffrey?
Should I not have done
her
that?
name was Lisa.
Was that inappropriate?
And she's holding this child that she's breastfeeding, and there's blood.
She's bleeding out as she's chasing this bus.
Hey, I need one more autograph. Okay, Julie, calm down. All right, I needed one more.
So finally, we're cheering her on the bus, and then we're like, what are we doing? We're only encouraging this. She's gonna die, and she's weaving through traffic in the police escort. So we're like, stop the bus! Stop the bus! So they stop the bus, and she's panting. She comes up to the bus, and we. I think Brandy actually took her cleat off, signed her cleat, and we handed it to her. And it's this great video of her like kissing, like, her cleat, like, thank you, that was worth it. I almost died, but
you should have signed her up. She sounds like she's got great endurance and
faster
speed.
than me, that's for certain, but most are. But that's it. Like we started to get a sense of, like something's resonating here in a different way than we've ever seen before. This is crazy. These people are crazy.
That is special though, because I'm sure there are those moments where you've played the sport your whole life and you've achieved a lot, and then all of a sudden you have a poignant thing like that happen. And it's a reminder of what you're doing and what you're building. Okay, so tell us your plans for this year's World Cup. You're covering it?
Well, it's on Fox, and I don't do Fox stuff, so I'm covering it, but I'm not calling it.
Okay.
So
where will you be able to go?
Doing,
are you going?
Some Sports Center stuff.
Okay.
Another COVID lesson was, do I need to work this hard? I don't think so. So my goal is actually I'm going to go to New Zealand, and I have to come back because I do Little League World Series as well for ESPN, and so I'm going to come back, but I'm going to catch the first half of it in New Zealand, like those first 3 games and maybe the round of 16. But my goal is to like explore New Zealand and also work and cover it, but not like I would typically at World Cup. I mean, typically you're there and you're grinding it out, but ESPN doesn't have the rights to U.S. soccer games anymore. I took all my commentating to Turner for soccer stuff, and Warner Brothers Discovery. So anyways, long story short, I'll be there, but I'm hoping that I'm there like enjoying it.
Exploring and being a tourist. I'll help you if you want. I can do your makeup and I'll be your fluffer and I'll just like walk around. I'll help you explore New Zealand. Is that all right?
Yes, please. You're invited.
Thank you.
She's a great fluffer.
Get me on that group chat and we'll see you in New Zealand. Let's go.
Oh, okay. So tell us, like, what are we excited to see? Like, if I'm a novice, I know that I am excited for the Team USA and I know that I'm going to watch it. Like, what are the storylines? Like, what are the things that you're excited to see unfold?
Well, no one, male or female, World Cup team has ever gone back to back to back. So you've had some dual winners like the U.S. right now. So the U.S. women won in 2015. They won in 2019. Brazil has done that before on the men's side. I think Italy maybe has done that before on the men's side. I could be wrong on that, but for sure Brazil. But no one has done the 3 back-to-backs.
Let's go.
So the three-peat. So it'll be interesting to see if they can, make history by doing that. I think they, one of the things they learned from the Olympics, this last Olympics, when they didn't do so bueno, was that they wanted to bring in a younger crop of players. And so they have managed to do that really well. But 2 of those younger players are now out with some injury. Obviously, Mal Pugh before, now Mal Swanson. Yeah. That loss, brutal. In the last games that just happened in April, I mean, it was just brutal. So she's not making it back to the World Cup with a, torn patellar tendon. And I don't know if that's been said, but I just can't see. Plus, I don't think that's fair to her to put those expectations on her. So, and this is a player that I've watched Mal play from, she was a 16-year-old on the Olympic team in 2016, 16, 17-year-old. And then she had some injuries and wasn't playing as well, didn't make the last Olympic team. And so she had this resurgence in a way I'd never seen a player like come from this young hype, to kind of falling off the radar a little bit. And then she's like leading the team and literally putting them all on her back.
Wow.
And scoring goals. And she scored half the goals for the team this calendar year alone.
Wow.
And so that loss is
huge.
Yeah. Sadly.
And devastating for her too.
Do you think they have someone that could fill that void? Do they have a couple people that could fill it though? Or no?
I mean, and actually, yes, gutted for her because she'd been playing so well. Like that's the thing that you just go, oh God. I think it's going to be hard to fill, honestly, Lise. I mean, this is a player that was playing out of her mind and just scoring goals and taking over games. And she was, I think you could argue she was the most formed player in the world.
Wow.
And so I think those are hard shoes to fill. Yeah. That doesn't mean they're not going to, be able to contend and vie for a World Cup title. They absolutely can because they have so many. I mean, the U.S. has such depth, but I think that's going to be a real hard one to replace. They have a 18-year-old and Alyssa Thompson, who they brought in is kind of what they're looking at. And we have a lot of really good wingers playing in our professional league as well. So they've got a few months, right, to find who's going to fill those shoes. But yeah, missing out on Mal is a huge one for the team.
That's hard.
But this team is really good. They're number 1 in the world. They're the 2-time reigning World Cup champion. It's a younger group that doesn't maybe have that experience, but they still have, Megan Rapinoe and Becky Sauerbrunn, and that middle group is now aging through Crystal Dunn, Rose Lavelle. I mean, there's a lot of good players. It's whether they can put it all together. And the last thing I'll say is the rest of the world, as we know, is getting really invested in women's football, especially in Europe. And so those European teams, because now all these big clubs are spending a lot of money on their women's programs, those players are really good.
Yeah.
We're kind of screwed that Europe's getting really good.
Damn them for trying.
Julie, screw them. It was funny. I was having a conversation with somebody when I was down at Stanford for the Game Changers events that you were honored at. I know you couldn't make it. But
I was sad to miss.
I know
that.
We were sad to miss you too, but it was a really cool event and so many amazing women. It was a Title IX anniversary. All the Game Changers in Stanford athletics over the years. It was really cool. But one of the conversation at my table was that the tide has shifted because Title IX kind of gave the US a leg up. Like we had kind of a little bit of a head start in terms of investing in
Totally.
female athletes and women's sports. And
Yeah.
now it is the rest of the world is starting to catch up, and it's going to be a lot harder and more competitive. I've got to ask you, do you have, I know you wouldn't ever say this on ESPN or any of your like official when you're wearing the broadcasting hat, but here on the Your Mom podcast, maybe anything goes. Do you have a favorite player? Like who's your gal on this team currently?
I would say, God, that's hard. I could pick one from each line, but the one that's like so much fun to watch is Rose Lavelle.
Yeah.
She just can spin a game on its head and so quickly with the way she plays, like so good on the ball. And she's just a love. She's a goofball and funny. And so I think probably Rose, I would say, is the one that, and I think a lot of fans, like when Rose touches the ball, you constantly, you're like, oh, okay, what's going to happen? That's always a good thing to happen in soccer.
And her mom's a trip, is from what I hear.
We're going to get her mom. We got
to get her on.
Yeah, you need to get Rose's mom on the pod because she makes Rose look boring.
Been way more fun. Wow. Okay, wait. So now tell me about your kids. You have 2 kids, right?
I do. 14 and 16. How about that, Lisa?
Wow. Gosh,
you know those ages.
I do. Yes, I do.
Terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Izzy, my 16-year-old, just got her license. So clear the road, Southern California.
Look out. So
holy hell.
Go off the roads. If she's anything like her mom, steer clear. Oh, that's an exciting time.
She got her license.
Good.
No, they're great kids. Izzy plays soccer. Declan, my 14-year-old, is a basketball player. He goes, Mom, from a very young age, he goes, Mom, too much running in soccer.
He couldn't handle it. I love it.
He's a big boy. When he was growing up, we called him Gronquito. Because he's like drunk.
I love it.
Gronquito. And so he's a big Christian McCaffrey fan. Big. He's like, Mom, get Christian's autograph. I'm like, I am not bugging Lisa for an autograph. No.
I will get him an autograph. Yes. If he wants an autograph, I will get. He has you as his mom. He's got to put up with you. That kid deserves the world. He deserves
the least you could do.
Lisa for an autograph. I'm like, I am not texting Lisa for an autograph.
Oh, I will get that kid an autograph if it's the last thing I do. Basketball is a hard sport to be a parent in. I've had to sit in gyms when my kids were playing, and you see all the faces, so you know what they look like. Football, you're a little bit hidden with the helmet, but their faces are right there, and you can hear the opposing teams just ridicule and heckle. And it is that was the most intense games I've ever been a part of, watching my kids play basketball, and they all played. It's tough. So do you get on the court and like yell at the ref and get in the face?
Oh,
yell at the coach and put him in and stuff.
Right.
Like you do that a lot.
Grab him by the collar.
Yes, good.
Do you know who I am?
Yes. I always say with basketball or just gyms, like gyms are so loud, right?
So loud.
I mean, it'd be so great to just do you don't need any, just sound and visuals, like a documentary, slow motion of people just like,
Totally. Yes.
That's every court. You look around, it's just insanity in basketball.
It is. It's so funny. You see that even in the pros. You see those women like yelling at, like, as the players are exiting, they're like yelling at them. You're like, lady, guys, calm down. For real, calm down.
But I think that's to the point of you have achieved the highest career success you can in a sport. And so having played at that high level, Julie, I'm curious what and for the, parents of kids who are coming up and playing sports that listen to this podcast, what do you think the role of a parent should be
They
in
should shut the hell up is what the role should be.
Okay, we're done. That's it. No more your mom. That's it.
Right, that's the last podcast. This is the only advice you need,
That's
parents.
all you need. Yep.
Shut the hell up. I get so irate when parents, I mean, this just happened this weekend. We were at a tournament. I was sitting next to 2 parents who were yabber, and I was like, I cannot do this. And it was, normally in a gym when it's so loud, you can't hear it all necessarily because it's just chaos. But it was just one court, and I was like, are they like this all the time? All our parents? Shut up.
It's embarrassing.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And like, who wants to hear that? No one needs to hear that.
And if it's parents,
you're not helping your kid.
Right. No. And if it's parents on your team, like where your kid is playing, your kid will get they'll think it's him. They'll think it's you. They immediately, like if somebody else is acting up, they would be like, oh, that's Ed McCaffrey's team. And so Ed, but Ed wasn't yelling. You're like, we weren't yelling. It was somebody else. And then we're getting a bad rap. That happened a lot. You're like,
right.
What?
Like, I can't believe Ed yells all the time.
Yeah, no, there was one rumor that Ed got in a fight, like a physical fight at a game. You're like, no, he did not get in a fight. He's never hit anyone because of my kids' sports. No, sorry. But things just get, parents, there's a lot of out of control stuff. So
they just gotta, I mean, you ask a kid, what's the first thing they say? I don't want you talking. Like, no. The only time I ever talk at a game, the only thing I will say, it's a collective. Like, here we go, 5. They're called 5-on-5. Here we go, 5. Here we go. Fair. Here we go, Blues. That's my kid's soccer team. That's it.
Do you help coach your daughter? Because your son doesn't play your daughter, right? Do you help coach her at all? Or
Hell no.
Did you ever coach any of their teams?
No. Oh no.
Do they know what a big deal you are? Like, do that? Because I think some
every day.
Okay, good. You start every morning before breakfast. They have to like watch a highlight reel.
Yeah, look at this, guys. Yeah.
No, I know.
Show them that poster.
It's hard being a parent. I'm not saying it's not done with the best of intentions, but like we just need to shut up. Like let's just shut up. Like let's just do quiet time. And if you're cheering, it's just for the team. Like way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
I tell my kids all the time, my mom, when she used to come to games, the national team games, we used to play in this thing called the Algarve Cup in Portugal. There was no one in the stands. Okay. It was this great tournament in March where we go to the Algarve of Portugal and play golf and drink red wine all the whole time, which is why we probably never won it. But my mom came one year and she was in the stands, and we have, our little, video recorder that we use for our like game footage for feedback that we do with the team. So they're replaying this video to the team in our game footage. And all it is my mom going, go Mia, go Mia, go Mia. Yes, Mia. Yes, Mia. That is such a good kick, Mia.
That is a good kick.
Cheering for every single player, never her kid. I was like, oh, go Mia. Yes, Brandy. Yes, Brandy. Oh, Brandy, that was such a good play.
That's an amazing impersonation too. I feel like, wow. And did you say mom?
Muted version for us to go through, because this is going to drive me crazy. I do love that she wasn't at least like, there's some parents like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
Yeah. At least she's positive.
Oh, she was so positive. It was so cute. That's what you want to be. If you're anything, be that.
Be that. That is so perfect. Such good advice. I love it. Yeah. Good advice.
Fruity Judy.
Yeah.
Tell us about your mom.
Oh, Fruity Judy. My parents are now in their 80s, but they're doing great. And
good.
And they never, ever, ever would, get me in the car afterwards and be like, let's talk about the game. That's, literally, Mom, when we lost the final to Norway in the 2000 Olympics. And I mean, we played a really good game, should have beat them. I was just crushed. And she was like, honey, I could not be prouder than I am right now of you, and you should not be crying. And I was like, oh, honey, I like silver medal socks.
Moms are the best.
Wait, so then how did you get into soccer if they were, just kind of not that competitive or
they weren't
supportive, but how did you fall in love with soccer? Because as a girl falling into soccer at kind of our ages, it was unique in a way.
This little kid named Eric came to our door in first grade with his red rubber ball and said, do you want to play? And I was a little tomboy and I was like, yeah, of course I do. And I'd be the only girl out there running around. And I'd be like, Mom, sign me up. She's like, and there was no soccer to sign you up at age 6 at that time. And so AYSO started in our area the very next year. So at age 7, I was like, sign me up, AYSO. And that's how I got going. And they never even came to games.
I don't remember your parents coming to Stanford, but I know they did. I shouldn't say that, but I don't remember. I was like, Ashley's like, I'm like, I don't know if I met your mom or dad.
Yeah, they didn't. Really I was the 4th kid. It was like, sweet. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Boom.
Good luck out there, honey.
Good luck.
Memories.
You got this.
You can do it. We believe in
No,
you. Bye.
I
That's
literally
actually
had to
pretty
convince him to
amazing.
come to the first World Cup. I'm like, "No, Dad, it's kind of a big deal." He's like, it's a really busy time of the year." I'm like, "No, it's a World Cup. I know
But
you
do I
guys
have
don't
to
know
leave my house?
soccer." I mean, but now I look back and I'm like, "Oh,
It's
how refreshing."
it's
I
I
was
yeah,
just
I
gonna
needed
say,
yeah.
I
I wanted it.
appreciate the hell
So
out of that.
refreshing. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
and so, like, when, my husband and I are like I'm like, "Oh, I'm away, I'm gonna miss that game," and he used to be like, "Oh, you're missing another game?" I was like, "Yeah, my parents never came to a game. It's
You're gonna be
fine.
all right.
We
Right,
shouldn't go to every game. Like, let them
Yeah.
play without eyes on them all the time. It's
right.
fine."
Let the
I
coaches coach.
do think I really do respect and appreciate that, and I believe that one of the things and working in around college athletics, it's like parents have made their entire a lot of parents have made their entire lives
Nice.
around their kids and their
Yep.
kids' sporting endeavors. And the pressure, Julie, like from your perspective of what you've seen, the way that it changed maybe from when you guys were playing in college to what it is now, how would you
It's
describe
insane.
yeah,
It's
because it's you look
insane.
at the numbers and the data and what is going on with people and the
Yeah,
depression and
it's
the suicide rates, like
yeah.
it's real and it's heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
for
not
sure.
good at all, and the model is so whacked too, right? It costs so much money and there's so much travel and God forbid you want to play a second sport. How dare you? Because you're not going to
Right.
have a life. You're not going to be able to go to school. I mean, Izzy tried to play volleyball as well when she first started high school. She had played both in middle school and she could not keep it up. It was just too much. So she ended up having to drop one. And of course, she's not dropping soccer. I would never allow that. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Um,
Hear that, mom.
I
I
was
know.
I was like, "Well, which one are we
You're gonna
thinking?"
please be
And
soft. Please
she
don't be
was
soft.
like "I think I'm gonna drop volleyball." I was like, "Oh my god."
She knew
Yes.
she couldn't disappoint mommy dearest. She knew.
No.
The pageant
But
mom.
yeah, it's intense.
It
It's
is
way too
intense.
intense. And
I
then
know the
it's
girls here in Colorado, there's been a lot of really good girls. Mal Pugh's actually from Colorado, from
yeah.
a high school right nearby. But there's a lot of girls that have come out, and a lot of the parents found out, oh, you played soccer or whatever. Ask, what was it like? And for us, I didn't play on a club team till junior year of high school. And it was kind of a secondary thing. And now
Right.
the girls don't play their high school and only play their club team. And I'm like, what's the end goal here? Is it a scholarship? Because if it's a scholarship, you're spending more money on the club team, the travel, everything else,
Yeah.
before you even get to college.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Facts.
it's right. It's crazy. So yeah, and I remember
And
the
then never
last
mind the pressure of it. Like we were
right.
at a showcase. Izzy plays for an ECNL team in here in Southern California. We were at a showcase the other day. There's like 50 coaches on the sidelines with their little scouting boards and um I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't remember one coach ever coming out to watch
Yeah,
us play." Did you
same.
ever? Right?
Never, never. And and I played a couple. I think I played a tournament out in California one time, and that was the biggest deal ever. And
Yeah.
there wasn't one coach that was there that I recall that I knew of. Yeah, no, not at all,
No.
not at all. No, it's so intense
So,
now. And the other thing is, I
I
think
mean,
they
I
should play
yeah,
multiple sports. I think it's huge because you're developing
yeah,
other muscles and other brain chemistries. I just think it's good to develop develop in all sports because I do think it helps prevent injuries. When you just play soccer
totally.
all the time, it's
Totally.
inevitable things are going to break down. So I'm a huge proponent of making the kids play multiple sports, and I know the
Yeah,
club teams
as
probably
long as you
shouldn't, but
can.
as long as you can, exactly.
And
And I
if
know,
you're a coach in this space or a parent, like, allow that. No, don't make them
yes,
feel guilty about it. Like, I
right.
think a lot of coaches go, "Oh, I allow it," and then they're like, "Why are you missing practice? How
And then they
dare you not make
penalize
this
you, and then,
game?"
oh, you don't play or
Yeah,
you don't start or, they penalize the player. I don't
yeah,
know. And you're just like, this is high school. This should be fun still.
it's
Should be
too
really
much.
fun. So
It's too much, and
yeah,
I don't know, but the thing I constantly have conversations with both kids about is it's great that you love your sport and you want to play at the next level, but like soccer isn't who you are, it's what you do, right?
right.
Basketball isn't
Good.
who you are, it's what you do. Like there's a
Right.
lot of other things. If you don't play soccer in college, right? We don't care. In
Right.
fact, I would argue, look at Division 2, look at Division 3, look at club. My niece had a great soccer career at Cal Berkeley playing on the club team. and
Yeah.
absolutely loved it, because you have so many good players that aren't playing at Division I level
Did the
that
Stanford club team beat them though? That's all I care about.
I did check in on that every time.
That's
She
all that
said
matters.
she said that Berkeley
Okay.
crushed the Stanford club team. I was like, I don't believe it. Send me a screenshot. I need to see a score.
And you may even have more fun. I mean, again, you probably have
Yeah.
more balance in your life in
Right.
Yeah,
some
and
ways,
that's
Right.
the thing.
like,
I'm like, you want that balance. So
yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
just talking them off the ledge a little bit. Like we have to
Yeah.
constantly do that and have those conversations. But
Because by nature, are they competitive and intense? Because I mean, both you and your
yeah,
husband played at a high
yeah,
level. I mean, I would think they
yeah.
would be. So
And I
yeah,
mean, you know it well, Lisa. You guys both played at a high level, and so they have that to live up to, right? Like,
right. And they're competitive, so they put a
yeah,
lot of pressure on themselves. So that's
right.
we have to back off just so that they're
Yeah, exactly. Like
remain
I
remain
have
human.
those conversations a lot. Like I
Mhm.
don't need you to play Division I soccer.
Yeah.
If you stop today, I would
Mhm.
be fine with that. You're going to play a sport and
Mhm. Yeah.
hopefully a team sport, but right? Like it doesn't
If they
you don't
don't,
have
are
to
you gonna put
feel
them in pageants or, like, make them do something else or, like, take, like, an instrument practice constantly? What are you gonna supplement with?
I did I did say to my mom once, "I can't believe you never taught me how to play an instrument." And she was like, "Oh, please don't even start with me on this." I was like, "Why didn't you teach me how to play an instrument so I was more balanced?"
It's basically child abuse, I would
Nice.
say.
Parents
She's like,
Neglect.
"I tried to sit your ass at the piano and you left. You wouldn't sit. You
Okay,
were
that
like,
happened to me.
"Let's
Yeah,
go."
same. I tried to, like, introduce my kids to piano, same thing when they were young, and they, like, wanted no part of it, and then all of a sudden, our neighbor, who's actually could play, told Christian and in, like, 7th or 8th grade, "Girls really like it if you can play piano." Dude, bam, the next day, that guy's, like, playing,
Chick
like, I don't
magnet.
know, Whitney Houston songs. I'm like, "What the heck? That's what it took." He's, like, playing all these
And now he's engaged to a former Miss Universe, so it
that's
all
all his
worked
stuff.
out. The goal was successful. That is
Oh,
hilarious. Yeah, playing piano to get chicks.
Oh,
Football's not
see?
gonna do it, but
it was not.
piano can. Julie, you've been so gracious with your time, and we'll let you go soon because we could sit here with
No,
you
I
all
wanna
day long, and
hear
I know you've got a lot of things going on. But I think to the point of, the way that you've thought about trying to be intentional about parenting your kids through the way that they have played sports and developed and all of the rest. How hard was it, or what was the transition like when you stopped playing? Because even as someone who never even came close to scratching the surface of the level that you guys played at, I really had a hard time when my athletic
Mm,
career ended my
yeah,
freshman year of college. I
yeah,
struggled. Like your identity has been wrapped up.
yeah,
So to your point of what you said, that's not who you are, it's what you do.
yeah,
How did you, what was that kind of stage of
yeah.
your life like?
And this was never anything that I even, like, consciously prepared for. It wasn't cognizant in terms of, like, diversify in college into things you wanna do, but for some reason, I just knew, like, I was not the type of player that I needed to consume soccer 24/7, right? For example, Brady Chastain, very much like that to this day. Consumes, watches everything, wants to coach all the time. Like I was like, shoot me now if that's me because I cannot. That's not me. Like I didn't want that. I wanted to be doing a million different things outside of soccer. So I quickly realized that about myself, and so um, as my national team career progressed, I just started dabbling in a lot of different things and television and just really following my passion and curiosity and not knowing at all that that would make that transition so much easier.
Mm.
It's just, and now I look back and go, oh, that's why the transition was so easy for me, is
Wow.
because I didn't identify as soccer player first. I identified as soccer player as a great part of, my life, but like, nah, I don't want to be a coach. I don't, like I want to try different adventures. When I first got out of soccer, NBC wanted me to call the Olympics for soccer. And I was like, I don't want to call the Olympics. I want to like learn how to put a piece together. Can you teach me that? So I went to the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, so they could teach me how to do TV with them, but I wouldn't call soccer games. I just did features.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I was like, it's too much of the same stuff. So I actually didn't have a hard transition because of that, because I
Cool.
already had so many other interests and I didn't identify, and which is why I have that conversation now with my kids. And I tell a lot of young kids, like, I get it. It's a very big part of our identity. And all those habits of working out and being around awesome women and having that community of teammates and that sisterhood is all part of who I am. But like, you can replace that with another sisterhood, and you can still work out, and you can still get all those things you love that bring the endorphins. But it doesn't have to be necessarily on the soccer field. And figuring that out earlier, I think, helped.
That's great.
I respect the hell out of that. And I think that is excellent advice for both young people who are playing sports and parents of young people who are playing sports, because it is hard to not get totally wrapped up. Yeah.
Just like
It's
your
hard to see the
portfolio,
weeds in it.
diversify.
Yeah.
Lisa has a very diverse portfolio. I just got to say, I'm so glad that you did not die a virgin on the field that day, Lisa, because thank God.
Thank
Truly.
God.
Thank
Whew.
God I didn't die.
Would have missed out on a lot of good things in life.
Yeah.
Oh, Julie, thank you for being so generous with your time. We absolutely love you.
You're the best.
Of course. Thanks for doing this pod. It matters. It makes a difference.
You're sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
being
Enjoy
you.
the World Cup.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are you guys going to get over there? No. Lise, come on.
I'm coming. I'm your fluffer.
Lisa's coming as your fluffer.
I'm going to fix that hair.
Let's go. You can be my mister.
Yes, I will be your mister. Yes.
Oh, it's wintertime down there. We might not need a mister.
Oh, I'll do it I'll find something. I'll do powder. I'll do your powder on your face right before you go on, and then we'll explore New Zealand. That'd be a blast.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm adding you to the thread. They're going to be
Thank you. Okay, yes, please. I know. Come on, that's so rude.
That's a good trade for a Christian McCaffrey autograph.
You guys are the mean girls. The mean girls. Let's not include her. That's so you.
She's tell them she's not a virgin anymore.
No, I can be in the group.
Be on the group.
I'm not. I've had sex 4 times, and that's it. That's absolutely it. Done.
Boom, 100% success rate.
I'm in the group.
I always know that about you.